Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome to this special stream of Blood Bowl 3, where we will be playing. We will not be playing ourselves, but we will be featuring a match from the Orca-Cola Championship tier. So this is the highest tier in the league, where we have Pidpad and his Frog Salad, Old World Alliance team, facing off against Wenteros and his Dwarves. Both of these coaches, extremely good, represented by the fact that these are like 2 out of 3 coaches in the entire league who managed a perfect record, aka no defeats, during the seeding tournament, with Wenteros having the best record of any team in the seeding tournament. So, quality coaches, quality gameplay assured. How exciting this is going to be well, that's going to be up to debate, because most of the time when people talk about dwarves in particular, exciting isn't generally the word that they use for games featuring them. But we shall see what happens here today. So, we are also going to be having a bit of an after the game sort of coach interview with Pidpad. We'll see how the game goes and how he's feeling about it. But let's take a look here. I don't think first of all, let's see if there were any inducements involved. I don't see any. So the TV difference between the two teams must have been fairly close. Pidpad has decided to go for a rather central and kind of forward defensive position, not wanting to give any more sort of quick snap on the receiving team. So 5 dwarves get to move 1 square, but yeah, Pidpad probably didn't want to give any more room to the dwarves to push forward than was necessary. He could have potentially stepped 1 more square in, but I think this is entirely fine. He also didn't put one of his dwarf blockers onto the line of scrimmage, but rather chose a dwarf blitzer in there instead. The reason being that the guard player here is going to be extremely important, I think, in this coming match. So, kickoff, as said, was quick snap, meaning that the dwarves got to move 1 square, 5 of them. Line of scrimmage block, dwarf blocker goes down, dwarf blitzer goes down. Surprisingly, he used the troll slayer that was situated in the center to take his hit on the dwarf blocker there. I would imagine, I imagine that it would have been, but I suppose it is the case that he doesn't want, even though the troll slayer does have dauntless, yes, but he probably doesn't want the possibility of him going for a 2-die block on the treeman and then only managing a push, and then Pidpad deciding to not stand firm, and thus making the block potentially worse, like the follow-up block with the frenzy. So, and down goes the tree to the blocker, which is not really a surprise. He does not choose to use stand firm there, so he will have to push someone somewhere, and that's an interesting dilemma, I think, for... Okay, so he chose to, I believe it is this dwarf blocker who is getting pushed as the tree sort of falls into his square. Now, where does he put him? I assume he's gonna go here. He definitely doesn't want to go... Okay, he goes there, which I guess that means that he's... Okay, so I think he initially... No, he's still going for the blitz there, and down goes the dwarf blocker. Okay. And no armor breaks anywhere, which is not really surprising considering most of these hits did not have Mighty Blow. None of them certainly had Claw, and all of the targets that were hit have an AV of +10, or in the case of the tree has an AV of +11. So armor breaks are probably going to be few and far in between, so long as the targets of blocks are generally dwarves. Like the troll slayers that are on the field. They are the easiest dwarves to attempt to remove, and even then you're facing an armor value of 9+ as well. So definitely not an easy removal in any case. The humans, well, they're about as easy with their armor to remove as the troll slayers, so not that easy to do either. It's the halfling, and the halfling is definitely the worst off in that case. And then we have the human catcher as the other sort of one. But yeah, so that is Dwarf Blocker goes down. Pidpad goes for a blitz, takes down another Dwarf lineman. No armor breaks there either, as said, like just genuinely unlikely. With that blitz, he managed to bring in his human blitzer next to the treeman, which allowed him to get a +1 on his attempt to stand up with Timber, which is Old World Alliance specific skill on the treeman, as the Wood Elf treeman does not have it. And then he picks up the Dwarf Blitzer here. And does he? No, he decides to keep the Dwarf Blocker, who is very much surrounded. He decides to keep him down. I mean, he wouldn't really want to be giving like that many free hits away, I guess. So I think like that's probably it. Obviously, like it's very tough trying to get through Dwarven armor. But it is one of those things that like it can certainly happen if you get unlucky and or like there's just enough hits for it to happen. So, what does Wenteros do now? It was an effective counter attack from the Old World Alliance there. But certainly not like no removals were had, so nothing like not a massive success, but you know they didn't need to reroll anything. All of the blocks managed to take them down. Treeman stood up. Okay, so instead of taking both down and potentially taking more blocks on the Old World Dwarf Blitzer there, he decides to push him into the Old World Blocker with the guard, and then follow that up. The human blitzer, I think, is going to be the blitz target, and yes it is, and that is a double skull. Yep, and he team rolls that into a defender stumbles. Yep, that human blitzer is definitely the most dangerous to the dwarves, because he does have Mighty Blow. The tree also has Mighty Blow for sure, but the tree is most likely going to spend its time generally probably not hitting anyone. So whereas the human blitzer is looking to take those sorts of shots. Moves slightly to the right of the center there with the ball and the other runner as well. Moves another Troll Slayer to protect. Brings a blitzer from the left to. It's not exactly a cage, but it's close enough, probably. It does. The push does mean that the Old World Dwarf Blocker here managed to get freed. Not stand firming there. Okay, which means that the tree is going to get pushed somewhere. The real question is where. Onto the human blitzer. Okay. Does he follow that up? Nope, he stays put. Okay, I think that, and that's a 2-die uphill. That is a 2-die uphill that Wenteros decided to take there. Gets a push-push result, which is fine for him, probably. Yep, follows that up. Overall, I think Pidpad is happy with the situation. He can potentially, like, if he goes for the Treeman block on the Troll Slayer there, he can even potentially free up his Human Blitzer. First things first, picks up the Dwarf blocker, moves him slightly downwards, does not come into contact with any of the opposing Dwarf players. Now, okay, so Pidpad moves his Dwarf blocker with the guard over there, which allows his Blitzer to take a swing at one of the opposing guard players, and down he goes, no armor break. Now, I just wonder, I think Pidpad might just take the Blitz. Okay, he does not. Is he going for like 3 dice? Yep. No? Okay. So, swings with the tree into the Dwarf blocker there. Does not follow it up. Takes a 2-die over there. I wonder if he is looking to surf that Dwarf. Like, he could potentially surf that Dwarf. Because he has 2 Frenzy players. Though the Dwarf Slayer, yeah, not the greatest. So he moves the kick human lineman over there. Moves human lineman with block there. Okay, does take the blitzes the Dwarf blocker with his thrower. And down he goes, no armor break, which does free up the frenzy lineman. Who only moves slightly backwards. Okay. Interesting. I mean, I think that Pidpad is doing a good job of, like, without having to, like, he hasn't yet dodged at all. So he is doing a good job of disentangling his team from the Dwarves. And that's not something that the Dwarves really want, because they don't have the speed to really exploit any sort of a breakthrough, even if they manage to do that. So just hemming them in and not like attempting to avoid contact as much as possible is the way to go, if you can do it. Obviously, there are teams that are better at that, such as, you know, elves, but it can be a useful strategy utilized by anyone. So, picks up the Blitzer with the guard, then brings in 2 dwarf linemen, blocker linemen with guard as well. Blitzes the Pidpad's guard blocker, only gets a push this time, and I don't think he follows that up. Okay, he does. He follows that up. Brings another guard piece over there, which allows the Troll Slayer to go for a 2-die into a 2-die against the Human Blitzer. This is why I was, unfortunately, not the greatest of block dice for Wenteros there. So first a push and now just a both down, which the block on both sides makes it nothing happens. I was thinking that that was going to be the reason why Pidpad was going to blitz the Troll Slayer with his Blitzer, was to avoid the Blitzer getting, like, having to be in danger of getting hit on. Right, he is. So the Dwarves are definitely shifting to the left. Surprisingly coming into contact with the Troll Slayer there on the human lineman with kick. Though, I mean, he has guard over there, so does attempt to dodge away with the dwarf blocker lineman, but does not make the 4+. Does not make the 4+ that would be needed for it to happen. Okay. So starts with the Mighty Blow Blitzer. hitting the guard beast there. Down he goes. No armor break. I am very surprised that he did not put the frenzy human lineman like over here, like just to tag those two dwarf players. He is moving both him and the thrower with bludge down into the backfield. Takes a 3-die block against the Troll Slayer with the tree. Does manage to take him down, and that's a serious injury. As said, and that is an instantaneous use of the apothecary. And that was a niggle into a broken arm, which is minus passing ability, but Troll Slayers have no passing ability, so the broken arm is essentially just an MNG. So yeah, that's yeah, I mean the Apo is like, that wasn't the most effective use of the Apo, but that is at least prevents an actually annoying injury. I am kind of surprised about Pidpad's movement here, though, with the Troll Slayer, in that, okay, he does that. Does he reroll? Nope, he does not reroll, and I doubt he's going to be dodging away. Okay, now he has to reroll. No, he doesn't have to reroll. He just... Ooh, that comes to bite him, and he does not use his Apo on that. Okay, so it is just an MNG, but that is 2 dwarves removed in 1 turn, and that is I'm very surprised. Like, I am very surprised that he has 3 rerolls. We're almost through, like, it's gonna be 4th turn for the dwarves. I'm very surprised that Pidpad didn't just reroll that. Like, definitely going to be asking him about that later. Troll Slayer takes down the kick human lineman. One of the blockers takes down the remaining old world dwarf blocker with a both down. No armor breaks on either. But yeah, that's I would argue that probably the old world dwarf blocker with the guard being gone, like, I think that's worse a removal than just the Troll Slayer. Like, sure, that's 1 less mighty blow, and like he doesn't have any stand firm on the field now for Wenteros. But I still think that, like, losing the guard is worse. So we'll see what happens here. So Wenteros took down those 2 players, and then has not yet decided what his next course of action is going to be. As noted before, like, the dwarves are kind of notoriously slow as teams go, and so far that has held true. These 2 are kind of out of the game for now. Don't really know what he could do with them. Like, I mean, he could tag the treeman. Yep, okay. So he moves there. He goes for a blitz on the human lineman with block, and down goes human lineman with block. Follows it up. So he is trying to force his way through the center here. Moves him there. Gets a 2-die on the old world dwarf blitzer with his blocker. But I do think that this where is he gonna go with this runner, though? I mean, I think he just runs over here, because, like, with the 2 guard players already in place, there's no way Pidpad takes, like, a 2-die uphill blitz. But no. Instead, he just moves 1 square forward on the left there. Moves his own blitzer with guard forward as well to cover a little bit wider. Takes down the dwarf blitzer, comes into contact with the tree, picks up the blocker there, makes a GFI to get the other dwarf blocker to contain the human blitzer there as well. So so what is Pidpad going to do now? Like, again, Pidpad isn't... Okay, so he starts by picking up the dwarf blocker here, who is surrounded by the 2 guard. Like, Pidpad is, I don't think, in any real hurry to re-engage with the dwarves. Takes down the dwarf blocker over there. Picks up the dwarf blitzer. Brings the frenzy guy over, which means that the human... Yep, down goes that blocker, which does free up this dwarf blocker with guard, no armor break. Takes a blitz there. Slightly surprising, I would say, that he took that blitz, because now this blitzer is free to move and is no longer next to the treeman. Slightly moves the dwarf troll slayer towards the center, and then does not move these 2 at all. Okay, Wenteros picks up his dwarf blocker over there. Brings in the guard blocker over there, which makes all the sense in the world. Picks up his blitzer. Picks up his blocker here. Takes them both down with the blitzer, and takes down the old world blocker. No armor break there. Right, brings a guard blocker forward. I am gonna assume that this troll slayer is going to be the one who is getting blitzed. The real question is he going to do it with the troll slayer, or is he going to do it with just the blitzer? Okay, no, it's not going to be the blitzer, so he moves the blitzer to be cage corner over there, moves his second runner to be cage corner over there, which I think means... Yep, it is the Troll Slayer. It's going to be Troll Slayer on Troll Slayer violence. That's going to be a push. So he follows that up. And he GFIs a 1. Team reroll still a 1. That is very bad. That is absolutely very bad. So, yep, he's going to bring him over to assist. He's going to go for a Troll Slayer block, I think. If only he had the guard available to him, but he does not. So he picks up the 2 prone players over there. Yep, makes sense. Unfortunately, with the guard being there, that's a very annoying situation for him. He takes the 1 die, okay, and he takes the 1 die with the dwarf blitzer for whatever reason. Okay. Yep, push. Doesn't follow that one up. Okay, which frees up the frenzy player. The frenzy player moves in to give the assist there. Okay. That's not what you want. That is not what you want. Uses team reroll there. Only gets a push. It's going to be a 1 die now. And he had to go through loner to get that. Alright. Does manage to bring down. And that is actually good. Like, pretty good for him. Pushing him next to the sideline, being threatening with that. Okay, he moves the human thrower there, and he goes for the blitz, gets a 2 die, and it's a POW, so the bludge does not matter. Doesn't follow it up. Does not follow it up, and the thrower catches the bounce. Okay. The situation has... Why move him there? Okay, Treeman takes his block of 2 dice and obviously moves forward to follow up the dwarf. No armor breaks. No armor breaks anywhere on these blocks. But the situation has changed drastically. The situation has indeed changed drastically. The dwarves are quite entangled. All of their guard is entangled at the moment, so the best he can do is go for a 1 die, and unfortunately he needs to go for the 1 die without tackle against the bludger. But even if the Troll Slayer only gets pushes, he can get him next to the runner with the wrestle strip ball. And then he can get another 1 die there. Or actually, yeah, I think Wenteros is definitely thinking, like, Wenteros is trying to think of a way, I think, of getting a guard somewhere. Yep, takes a 2-die there, follows it up to get away from the tree, and bring a guard over here to help out his blitzer buddy. Yep, that was what I was thinking. He might go for that 1-die. He does go for the 1-die on the wrestle strip ball guy, and that's why I think it was a mistake from Pidpad to put this guy over here. I think he should have put him there, because now he follows up that 1-die, and now he has a guard on the ball on the thrower. Goes for the blitz with the Troll Slayer. I'm gonna assume he pushes him down the middle with the blitzer. Makes sense. And pow, down he goes. And now he still has a runner that could potentially recover the pole. Gets a removal as well, a KO. Definitely doesn't want, and he makes the catch in a tackle zone with the runner that is still standing. That is okay. The situation is moving explosively at the moment. Takes down the frenzy lineman. Takes down the frenzy lineman. No armor break there. Takes a 2-die block with his runner with the ball. Takes down the Troll Slayer. Pushes him next to the sideline. He's not really in danger of getting surfed, I don't think. But that does. And he moves that runner over there. Okay. And he moves. Yep. Okay. So situation once again is moving rapidly. He picks up the frenzy human lineman there. So the real question, I think, and the answer to that is no. I was thinking of, is there a way that he can get even a 1-die on this runner, right? And the answer is no. There really isn't, because unfortunately. So he goes for the 1-die against the dwarf lineman blocker there. Stays put, puts him down. Does free up the human blitzer with Mighty Blow. But where is he gonna go? He is going to rush there. I mean, that's okay. And then okay. Yep, I was wrong. He can definitely get a 1-die on the ball, and this one does. I mean, the strip ball still doesn't matter because it's okay. Down he goes. Wrestle. So the ball is once again loose. Decent bounce, or a decent sort of scatter for him. Being in one tackle zone next to the okay, Tree takes his swing, follows that up. Kind of a okay, yep, makes the 3+ dodge to get another. Oh, he's going for the pickup. He didn't use his reroll on the failed pickup. Does not manage to catch it, and I think that's, well, it is turn 7 for Wenteros. So, like, Wenteros needs to both secure the ball, or at least make it as, like, he might not need to pick it up, but what he needs to do is he needs to get somebody in scoring range. And that is going to be difficult, I think. So starts with the blitzer block, takes down the old world dwarf blocker, frees up his other blitzer buddy. Okay. He's achieved that. I think what he's going to do is he's going to move this blitzer here. And then he's going to blitz this guy with the Troll Slayer. Hopefully take him down. And then have the Troll Slayer move as far as he possibly can. Because this Troll Slayer, I think, is the easiest player for Wenteros to get into scoring range. I don't think he can... There's a world where he can get either of the runners into scoring range without doing some rather ridiculous things. Well, not so ridiculous. Like, if he manages to... Like, if he takes a one-die block here, right? It could also do that he goes here, still does the blitz with the Troll Slayer here, so he gets 2-2-die if necessary, and if he takes him down, he moves this Troll Slayer here, which allows him to take a 2-die here. Actually, probably moves him here rather than there, because there's that from that angle he's not surfing the Troll Slayer. So anyway, hopefully takes him down, like brings him here, hopefully takes him down. Brings him here, gives an assist here, but like even then, that's still relying on him making a 3+ dodge, and then like he's also going to be out of position really to try and protect the ball. So yeah, I just think that the Troll Slayer here is probably still like the dwarf that he wants to bring into scoring distance. But man, you can tell that Wenteros is having a tough time in this match, considering that he's already down to just 3.5 minutes of his reserve time. And this is only the first half, and like that doesn't refresh in between. So Pidpad is definitely making even with the loss of his guard player, like Pidpad is making him like really have to fight for this score if he can manage it. And currently it's looking kind of bad for Wenteros, I think. Okay, so he goes for the one-die blitz there, and he gets skull into a skull, and that is very bad. That is very bad, because now Pidpad takes a 2-die here. Well, picks up some people first, but before he picks this guy up, like he blitzes him. Takes the 2-die here. Actually, no. He just blitzes him first. Why blitz him? Why blitz the runner? Oh, because you want to surf him rather than because you... Okay. I don't think that was the correct play. Like, he could blitz the Troll Slayer, take down the Troll Slayer. He still has 2-die here, and just a push is enough. And the blitzer would then be free to pick up and start running away with it. I don't think that was the correct play to do. Like, I get Pidpad that you want to surf the Dwarves, but I think trying to score here would have been better overall for your winning chances. Does manage to, like, does take the 1-die, and does get him out, and that's a KO on the Blodge runner. Troll Slayer also gets one of the blocker that was putting him only a stun, so yeah, he takes the 1-die, and he takes down the Troll Slayer, and he does get to do what I said. Goes for the pickup, fails it, rerolls, still fails it. Okay, so Pidpad will also not be scoring this half, but depending on if that Dwarf runner stays out. And hopefully he gets his thrower back himself, but both teams will be close to full unless there's some removals here and now. But that is... Wenteros must be very frustrated, I think, with this half. He just could not press Pidpad hard enough to break him and break through and be able to grind his way up. Like, he never got past, like, what, 3 squares from the halfway line with the ball. Like, he was like here, I think, the furthest with the ball carrier. So Not a great half for Wenteros. Not a great half for Wenteros. But Pidpad will be facing much the same issue. Probably worse issue for him because of the wall of guard that he has to then like contend with on his offense. All right, takes the blitz against the Mighty Blow Blitzer. Doesn't manage to get him down with the Troll Slayer. Takes a 1-die against the blocker. Follows him up because why not, I guess. Takes a 1-die on the Frenzy Human. Down he goes. Doesn't follow up, question mark. Yep, doesn't follow up. No armor break there. Only managed to push on the Dwarf Blitzer. Tries to dodge away from the tree. Falls down, but still better than taking a Mighty Blow hit from the tree. So because the ground has no Mighty Blow. Frenzy Human goes over, tags him. Troll Slayer moves there, tags the Troll Slayer, which means that the human lineman here can take a 2-die. Yep, down he goes. And even if he managed to only get a push, then the tree would get a block in as well. Down goes. No armor break. I'm going to assume that these human linemen are just going to move. Okay, fair enough. Down goes the Troll Slayer. Nope, no armor breaks. Doubt he's going to be taking 2-die uphills. And I think... I mean, go for a Vanity Pass Pit. Yep. Picks it up with the kick die, and that was that was an inaccurate pass into the crowd and back at the very into the middle of the dwarven side, and that is the first half, and quite exciting. Quite exciting, in fact. I don't know why that is showing up on stream now, but all right. Hopefully that fixes it. Right. So, both KO recoveries were successful. So, both teams will be starting with 11 on the field. I think the human thrower recovery was probably more significant than the bludgeoning runner. But still, both teams I think are quite relieved to be well. The Old World Lions was always going to be fielding 11 players because they did have 2 people on the bench already. So, but the Dwarves must be breathing a sigh of relief to not go undermanned into the second half. So now is the big question of, well, the Dwarves didn't manage to break into really Pidpad's side of the field, but can Pidpad break into the Dwarven side of the field is going to be the big question, because, well, I mean, he has his slower moving elements as well with the Treeman and the Dwarf Blocker, and to a lesser extent the Troll Slayer and the Dwarf Blitzer, But yeah, the Dwarves just have so much guard on them. Like that is five guard players. A veritable wall of high armor and guard. Ophacious Ref, okay? So somebody, the Dwarf Blocker on the line of scrimmage was stunned. Okay. Don't think that's going to be terribly relevant. Human Thrower moves over there. Doesn't want to do a GFI to pick up the ball. Takes a 2-die with the wrestle guy. Okay. Brings in the Dwarf Blitzer to give the assist. 2-die. Only manages a both down result, so nothing happens. Not great. Not great blocking so far from Pid. 2 pushes into 2 push results for the Troll Slayer. This does mean that that is a potential, but no, as he's definitely not rerolling that, but he is And that is an armor break on a dwarf that is not a troll slayer. For Wenteros team. And why did Pidpad blitz there? Like, what does he want this treeman to do that he needed him free? And he doesn't move the treeman. That I find bizarre. Like, this treeman did not activate. As far as I saw, did not activate at all. Unless I missed it, like, unless I'm really, really blind all of a sudden, and I missed the treeman activating. I do not understand. Like, I guess, like, I'm gonna assume it's because Pidpad did not want the treeman to risk rolling for take root. Like, that is my best guess as to why he'd rather take the blitz with the human blitzer here than risk the treeman block. But Wenteros brings in a guard player, takes down the human lineman with block, no armor break. All right. So how much is Wenteros going to be breaking his own defensive formation here? That is, I think, the question. And why is he... Is Wenteros going to be trying to be, like, extremely aggressive? Okay, that's a stun on a dwarf as well. So the old world dwarf blitzer is stunned there. Armor break on a dwarf has now equalized for this half. Or armor breaks on dwarves, I guess. But what does this accomplish? Is my question. Like, what does that particular blitz accomplish? Why does he put so much force in there? Okay, and he is moving forward. He is moving forward into hard contact with all of his guard players. And then the runners are going to be staying behind the main battle line. Okay. What is Pidpad going to do about this? So he's going to start by picking up the dwarf blocker there. Moves the kick human lineman to screen here, I think. Moves the frenzy human lineman over there, just in case something goes horribly wrong with the tree, I think. Takes a block with the tree, does not manage to take root. Follows up the dwarf blocker that he hit. Takes a blitz with 2 die now on the troll slayer with the mighty blow blitzer. Down he goes, and that's another stun. Another stun. Blitzer comes backwards to protect. I'm surprised that he picked up that. I'm surprised that he just picked up that human lineman. I figured that he would go for the pickup first, and then he could potentially pick up the human lineman and try to dodge away. Because now he's just stuck there, and he's gonna get punched by a dwarf blocker lineman. So the human thrower managed to easily make the pickup in the corner, brings it forward towards the center. The catcher moves up somewhat on the left, and then it's okay. So he's not dodging anywhere. He is essentially just like this troll slayer, definitely going to get punched, probably by this dwarf blocker. Okay, he starts with on the other side and manages to roll a double skull, which is not a great start for Wenteros. Pushes him there, follows him up, gets another 2 die on him with the other blocker lineman. I am slightly surprised, and he gets a skull both down. So essentially the situation is reversed here. Like this was kind of what happened with Pidpad on his start of not getting much done. Takes the push result there, okay. takes another 2 die. This time, the wrestle strip ball guy goes down. I'm sure he follows that up so that the guard players can support one another. Yep, down he goes. No armor breaks. So over here, picks up the lineman, takes a 2 die there. I'm gonna assume he takes the push. Like, I think it would be kind of okay. Nope, he wants to take another 2 die on him, and down he goes. The blocker takes down, and he even follows it up. I am slightly surprised here about this, but I think Wenteros is convinced that he is in a fairly good defensive position. Goes for a blitz with the blodger runner, and down goes the frenzy lineman. No armor break. But yeah, I am slightly surprised that he, instead of just like taking the push there and being fine with this blocker essentially like one-on-oneing the Troll Slayer, he instead follows it up with that block as well. Picks up the Stripple Wrestle guy, picks up the Frenzy guy. I'm gonna assume he picks up he's just gonna pick up the Dwarf Blitzer there, maybe? Or maybe... Okay, so the Dwarf Blitzer is probably gonna be taking... No? Okay. I assumed that was gonna be the Blitz, and then he could take a 2 die here, but nope. Takes down the guard dwarf. No armor breaks there. Tree takes a 2 die. Only a push. Follows that up. That's entirely fine, probably for Pit, as that is opening a gap in the dwarf lines. This is why I was surprised that he didn't just take the push there, because like this guy could be somewhere near the middle here. Goes for the blitz. With the Mighty Blow Blitzer, gets a both down result. So wrestle is activated. No armor rolls on either side there. But this is this is essentially wide open for Pid now. Like, yeah, he's just gonna go for the handoff, and the human catcher makes it. Doesn't even need a catch reroll, and I think he just runs it forward. Like, I don't see how Wenteros is going to stop him from scoring here, because he committed so much over on this side, rather than bringing at least somebody, like, back to here. Like, that's why I also figured that it was going to be the blocker lineman with the movement 4 who would have done the 2 die block here to get that push in. He even takes a GFI, and I don't know why he feels the need to take 2 GFI there. I don't think he was going to be in scoring range regardless, and I don't think, like, he's more exposed now than he would have been, like, here. I don't know why Pidpad felt the need to do that, because, like, now, like, Wenteros has not been shy about taking those 4+ dodges with the dwarf blocker lineman when he thought he wanted to take them. So, like, Pidpad is essentially now just... Okay, starts with a 2 die block with the runner there, takes down the frenzy lineman, frees up this blitzer, picks up the blocker here, but yeah, I mean, I think it is going to come down to Wenteros. Like, he could potentially go for the wrestle strip ball. Like, yeah, I think that might actually be better, because like, even a push is fine. So that is like, okay, he doesn't go for it. He doesn't go for that blitz. I mean, he brings the guard blitzer into contact with the old dwarf blocker there. Don't know why. Yep, goes for the 2 die there, takes down the Troll Slayer, follows it up. Which does free up this dwarf blocker, but like, I think this is way too late. Like, they are not going to be getting... I mean, this at least means that Pidpad can't stall, I guess. Like, him freeing up these forces and getting them to the center means that there's going to be enough pressure coming down Pidpad's way that he cannot stall, but yeah, I mean, I think Wenteros is like, the blitz is going to be that this dwarf blocker here makes attempts to make a 4+ four plus dodge and go after the human catcher, which is again very weird that like the placement of that catcher from Pidpad. Like I don't know. I don't think that was a very smart place to put him. Makes the 4 plus dodge with the blocker there with no issues. Yep, makes the GFIs. Does manage to take down because he has tackle. Like that's the thing. Had he been like one to the left there, the dwarf blocker, I don't think like would have like that would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, like the dwarf blocker couldn't have actually made that blitz had it been one to the left. Like was he? I guess he was so afraid of him getting surfed, but like the only Troll Slayer available was down here, and he was prone. So we'll definitely need to ask Pidpad about that one as well in the post game interview. So starts off picking up the Frenzy Human lineman over there. I'm gonna assume he's just gonna stand up the Dwarf Troll Slayer as well. He goes for, so he rushes, and he rushes, which means that he now gets a 2-die with the kick guy. Yep, makes sense. Does need to make a rush to make this block happen. Does make it happen. Follows it up, obviously. But yeah, the catcher is, he's not going to be scoring this turn. And now he's in a way worse position. Because, like, there's a lot of pressure coming down his way. Does manage to pick up, no issue. But there is a lot of pressure on Pidpad now. Like, this guy is definitely going to get punched. Definitely. Like, this guy is entirely free. Yep, so Pidpad actually moves backwards somewhat to get into a more defensible position. And now he's going for the 1-die blocks. Again. Takes down the Dwarf blocker. Pushes him there, which frees up the Dwarf blitzer for the Old Wood Alliance. Brings him to screen. Takes that 2-die against the Troll Slayer. Follows it up. Pushes him down. Surely, Pidpad, you follow that up. Surely you do. Yeah. Yep, picks up the Troll Slayer, and that's that. He is still very much within scoring range because the human catcher does have movement 8, and if this works out for Pidpad, then it's is he gonna take the boat down there, or is he fine with just a push? Well, there's no way that the Dwarves are going to be getting... He takes the push there. Okay. There really isn't... Like, I think... And he follows that up. He brings him over there. That's one... Yep, takes down the kick guy. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, he can get a 2-die on the catcher again. He will need to make a GFI for the actual block. It is going to be 2-die. He has block, but no tackle on this one. Takes a 2-die there with the Troll Slayer, which frees up this Dwarf blocker. And he manages a stun on that one as well. Brings it. I don't know why he's taking these, like... I don't think these are very consequential blocks here. But does take down the human lineman with block. Follows it up to get away from the tree. Takes the 2-die there with the runner. Now it frees up this guard lineman to move, and he just moves into support as expected. But yeah, now he's going for the blitz. And he does get a POW. Puts him next to the sideline. And that's a dead catcher. That is a dead human catcher. Is the apothecary going to be used here? That is a 0 SPP human catcher. And the Apo is not going to be used. So, I mean, Pidpad did not check what kind of treasury he has, but he probably has more than enough to just replace the dead player anyway. But that is very much hampering his ability to score. No question about that. No questions about that. So this is gonna be getting very interesting for Pid, because he doesn't even really have. Okay, so he takes a 1 die there with the thrower, and he makes it a blitz, so that he can come and assist over there, which gives him another 1 die, only a push. Pushes him next to the thrower, stays where he is with the human. Yeah, okay. Moves the blocker there to contain the dwarf blitzer. Goes for the pickup with the old world dwarf blitzer, and does make it. Does make it no problem, and then brings him towards to a more safe position. And then he goes for the 1 die with the Troll Slayer, gets a push into a POW. Pidpad is getting really good 1 die here. Like, none of them have, and he had a 2 die with the treeman still, which he does not take. He does not take the 2 die with the treeman there on the Troll Slayer for whatever reason. It's gonna be. No, it's not. Like, he takes. Wenteros takes a 2 die block. No, Wenteros takes a 2 die block. Yep, he takes a 2 die block there. Down goes the human lineman with block. He takes a 2 die block there. Even a push is fine for the old world human blitzer. Pushes him there. Yep, even a push is fine. Pushes him there. Right. Yeah, pushes him there, follows that up. He does need to make a 1 die here, I think. Takes the boat down because he's got block and the enemy does not. But yeah, he does need to make a 1 die here, I think. Here, only needs a push. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Yep, so moves him there. Gets a 2 die on the blocker. Follows that up to bring guard. And assist, which makes that a 2 die. Yep, that was not a takedown because no tackle on this, but still, getting the push is enough. And that gives him another 2 die blitz on the ball carrier. Only pushes, re-rolls into only pushes. So, not the best, but like, this is an absolutely horrid situation for Pidpad. Like, it is getting really difficult for him to score. Picks up the blocker there, and the runner, the blodge runner, makes his getaway from the frenzy human lineman there. And comes over to the dwarf blitzer as well. So he is, like, with no guard of his own, and all of this guard nearby, and the tree also still, Like, that's the thing, is that, like, him not taking the block against the Troll Slayer with the treatment means that, like, he's now stuck there. Like, maybe the Troll Slayer could have gotten stunned, or even, like... Okay, so he takes the 2-die there, only gets a push, which means that the human lineman with Wrestle Strip Ball is not freed. I do hope that this is, like, the whole... This red blinking thing is not going on for Pidpad, because it is annoying. Like, it is super annoying that this is, like, he's not in any hurry of, like, time running out. His opponent was on his turn, but now it's stuck this way. Picks up the human lineman with block. Picks up the Wrestle Strip Ball guy as well. Goes for a 1-die Frenzy Blitz. That's not what he needs. That's... Well, he has to push him there, because otherwise he's gonna go into a 2-die uphill, which is not what he wants. Yep, he pushes him there. Yep. And he gets a push. Again, like, the 1-die have been super lenient on Pidpad. The 1-die blocks have been super lenient on Pidpad so far. Okay, takes another 1-die. This time it's the Troll Slayer. Threatens to surf that one, but, like, that is an entirely, like, this has no bearing on like what happens in this game, in the sense of, like, how the game is going to end up with. And he does not take a 1-die on the runner there with his Blitzer, which I think is a mistake, because that's the thing. Now he's gonna get an easy 2-die here. Okay, takes the Frenzy Lineman down. And does manage to even get a stun. Yep. Then he's going to take the 2-die there. And the Frenzy Lineman is going to go into the crowd. Down goes the Old World Dwarf Blitzer. Next to the sideline. Now, here's an interesting question. Where does the crowd... Okay, so that's a KO. And that's a stun. And the ball is thrown into, like, the mid... Like... Well, the mid area of Pidpad's side, which is probably, like, not a bad place for it in the regards of, well, it's going to be a 0-0 draw. And gets a stun on the thrower. Takes down the kick lineman as well. No armor break there. But can definitely get Dwarves to, like, he can't get him there, but he's still got his Blitz available, and yeah, he just moves the Blitzer with guard there, which gives him a 2-die on the human Blitzer. And he's going for a Blitz. Push is enough for his purposes, because he's gonna go over there, I think, so that the Troll Slayer can hopefully free himself from the tree. Yep, makes the rush. And unfortunately, for Wenteros, I think he was hoping to get a push and then a knockdown, but he does also then KO the Wrestle Strip Ball guy. I don't think you use your apple on that, Pit. I don't think you do. You are not... Yeah, you are not winning this by doing that. And he makes the rush, and he makes the second rush. So Wenteros is now in a very good position to potentially even win. Picks up this guy, doesn't take the 1-die there. Okay. Yeah, this is not... The Pidpad needs to, I think, rely on some 3+ dodging. which is definitely not the most reliable thing in the first place, but he goes for it, and he team rerolls, and he fails it. And that is a stunned human lineman, and that is a turnover. If Wenteros fails to pick up the ball, then that is Pidpad's only hope in Wenteros not winning. Well, actually, if Wenteros fails to pick up the ball here, then he might actually, yeah, but he definitely starts by doing the blocking here. It's like that was an important block to make. Brings him into support, and he's now in scoring range with this blitzer, even if he fails to pick up the ball. So it was looking very good for Pidpad, but one bad placement of a catcher, and it's all gone down the hill. Takes some some blocks. Only manages to push on the blocker there. Goes for a blitz against the blocker as well. Gets 3 dice on that. Does manage to bring him down because the blocker, surprisingly, does not have block on him automatically in the Old World Alliance team. Moves him there to contain those two. Goes for the pickup. Fails to pick up, but then makes it. And then gets far enough away that Pidpad can do nothing about this. And then goes for the 1 die on the Troll Slayer. Doesn't get anything. Gets the Dauntless off. Takes down the tree. Stand firm. Gets a stun on the tree as well. And does make the 2 rushes just to make it a 2 die uphill for the Troll Slayer as well. So no surfing a dwarf there. While he's still going for it, he goes for the blitz. Manages to surf anyway. But as said, and that is a dead dwarf blocker. I'm gonna assume the Apo. No, the Apo was already used. So that is a dead dwarf blocker. He only had 2 SPP, so it wasn't one of the guard ones. But I think Wenteros just walks it in, and that is 1-0 victory for Wenteros. And I did not see this coming. But that is the end of the game. 1-0 Wenteros. It was certainly an exciting match. I don't think there's any denying that. Let's see what the right. Let's see what the game says. And hold on, community, Coca-Cola Championship, competitions. Let's go over here. OCC Championship is over there. Let's take a look. For whatever reason, so this is done. I think we should be able to see it in the history. I just want to see who the MVPs went to. So MVP went to the treatment, and a dwarf blocker with 0 SPP. All right. With that, we are going to be jumping in to talk to Pidpad and get his thoughts on the matter. Pidpad, say hello to the viewers.
Hello.
So, that didn't go exactly how you wanted it, did it?
No, it doesn't help when the dwarves are better at dodging than you are.
Yeah, that 4+ dodge with the blocker was quite important. There was I did want to ask you about the catcher. I assumed that he would have been like one line to the left, like two essentially like just 1 square away from the sideline. Was that a no?
Then he could have dodged on agility 3 instead with strict ball.
Ah,
and I don't. Ball in the crowd was what I didn't want.
Yep.
If it stays down there, it's at worst a draw.
Yep. That makes sense.
But
Commiserations.
the ball ended up. The ball ended up in the crowd and got thrown the wrong way anyway.
Yeah.
And then he removed everything.
Yep. So commiserations on your loss, and commiserations on the loss of a catcher as well. Did you manage to get enough money to replace him at least?
I probably already have that.
Yep, I thought as much.
He had no star play points. He
Yeah.
will replace him.
Yeah, seems reasonable. I did want to also ask, the double skull in the first half, where the blocker with guard, why not re-roll that? Was it because he had the loner, so you didn't want to risk it not working?
It was also the last action that turn.
Fair enough.
So the turn would have ended anyway.
Yeah, fair enough. I just figured you wouldn't.
It
You would
didn't quite count on him
getting
next game, but
yes. I imagine that was. Was it hard to resist not using the apple on that, knowing how useful the guard player would be?
once I saw it was only a miss next, no, not really.
Okay. So had it been an actual a permanent injury of some kind, you probably would have used the apple, on the assumption it wasn't like minus passing.
Probably, yeah.
All right. Well,
I did also consider upwing the wrestle split ball guy when he got KO'd.
yeah, we were.
But I
looking at
realized he'll still be stunned, so
Yeah.
he is irrelevant.
that. Yeah, correct.
And I counted, he's not blocking any steps either, so... Had he made it one step further for the dwarf runner, I would have upped him.
Yeah. Seems reasonable. Any particular mistakes that you think you made in the match that sort of stuck out to you?
Yeah, failing to pick up the ball in the first half with the blitzer. That would have been a touchdown.
Yeah, that certainly would have been had he managed to pick up and then ran away with it. I was surprised that you even you went for the instead of doing the blitz with the like you went for the serfs rather than taking a 2-die blitz with the wrestle guy against the troll slayer, and then because I think that would have been better for your touchdown, but you managed it with the 1-die anyway. And then you failed to pick up the ball.
I wanted to inflict damage as he couldn't score.
Yeah, I figured that was
to make
the case.
the second half easier.
Yep, that makes sense. Unfortunately, the KO did make a recovery. So.
Yeah, but my thrower got back as well.
Yeah, so... And I do think that the thrower was probably, the more influential player overall to get back rather than his blotch runner. Though the blotch runner is a very good
I
piece.
don't know. Dwarves with the missing player is... I mean, I'd still have the halfling.
Yes.
So I would have been 11.
Yes.
Even if briefly.
No. There was another thing. The treeman, there were a couple of times when you didn't block with the treeman, even though he had dwarves next to him. The most important one, I think, was that you didn't block with the treeman against the troll slayer, that he was next to in the second half there, which meant that the troll slayer was still standing next to him and he couldn't get anywhere.
Yes.
Was that because
that was a case of a double skull is really, really bad.
Yeah, okay.
And he was also blocking off
Yeah.
the runner some...
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah, it was a runner down there.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Yeah. Fair enough. Any particular mistakes that you think Wenteros made? I personally think that he committed too many resources on the right in the second half when he was he committed to fighting the lone troll slayer on the right for whatever reason, and which allowed you to get the get into the position that you did with the catcher in the first place, and him not having that many resources in the center to sort of reinforce.
Did he have a reroll for his skull with the Troll Slayer in the first half? When I
No.
got didn't he? I think he did.
He might have. But
If he did, I think it was a mistake not using that.
Okay.
That was allowed me to get to the ball.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, actually, I think you might be right. I think he might have had, in fact, one reroll left there, yeah.
And it wasn't hard to get to the ball.
But, once again, commiserations on the loss. Commiserations on the loss of a catcher. Not that
I feel somewhat hard done by.
Yeah, I mean,
I had easier chances than what he had to do to stop me from scoring.
Yeah. I do think that, like, the one thing that stuck to mind where I think you got the better half of the deal was you made a lot of one dice blocks, and most of those were successful for your purposes. So,
yeah, but I mean, most of them with block.
Yeah,
some exceptions.
Yeah.
And where a push is good, so it's a 2+ basically.
Yeah.
Even if the 2 is meh.
All right. But yeah, good luck, both to you and your opponent for the rest of the season. You did say that you wanted to face the Dwarves early, and you did a great job, I think, of like stemming his offensive drive in the first half, even with the fairly early loss of the guard blocker. But unfortunately, the crowd can be cruel and essentially put the ball exactly where Wenteros would have wanted it to land when it went to the crowd off of your blitzer. So. But with that, thank you everybody for watching. Hope you had a fun time. Hope you'll tune in for tomorrow when I will be playing my own OCC game, though that is in the dumpster downs of 2A rather than up here in the championship. But as I always say, good day, good morning, good night, good evening, good afternoon, whatever happens to be the time of day for you. Have a good one.